Welcome to Blue Marble Geographics Ask the Experts. I'm Rachel Landry, and this is Jeff Hatzel, a product manager. Jeff will be showing us a few new features in Global Mapper Mobile Pro today. So what are we going to be looking at, Jeff?
Thanks, Rachel. So today I wanted to talk about some of the functionality in the app, which is accessible to us with the Pro version, and while we have a live data connection. So it's true that the vast majority of the time, you do not need a data connection other than initially licensing the app. And if you choose to wirelessly transfer any data from desktop to mobile. Obviously, of course, if you're using GPS in the field, you'll need GPS signal. But other than that, the app most of all functions without a data source. However, what I want to talk about today is using two options to help enhance the data that we're working with in the field when we do have that data connection. So first, I'm just going to go through and open some data that I was sent from my data manager back in the office. Now, this is some basic vector data, and when I'm out in the field, I might want to give myself some sort of reference or a little bit better awareness of where I am, just so that I have a little bit better feel of things. This is where the online data tool comes into play. So this tool allows us to connect to a variety of built-in sources similar to that tool in Global Mapper Desktop. The free version of Global Mapper Mobile does have one built-in source to connect to OpenStreetMaps. Pro users have the ability to connect to a larger amount of online sources. They'll also have the ability to connect to customize, or to add, I should say, customized sources as well. And you can see that here. What I'm going to do now is just navigate and connect to one of the built-in imagery sources. We have two of the NAIP sources, so the U.S. National Aerial Imagery Program. And I'm going to connect to one of them. This is just a public state-level source in the U.S. Once this source loads, I might want to reorder my layers here simply because this online source was the one I most recently added, so it will be displayed on top. But maybe I just want to adjust some of my vector data. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, so while I'm out in the field today in this example, my goal is to record or update a survey of manhole covers for the local public works department. And when I double check my data, so before I get started, I'm just going to look at what layers are available to me in the control center. I'll see that I'm missing some of the source files I need. So I know that my data manager always provides me with a feature template layer, and it looks like maybe he forgot to add it to the map. That's not the end of the world right now. So with the Pro version of Global Mapper Mobile, we can add in data layers after the fact in case this situation ever arises. So technically, this functionality is called adding a layer from a file. What I can do is from my menu here, choose to add a new layer right into the application. In this case, I've spoken to my data manager and they've put this file that I need on a shareable drive. So I'm going to navigate to that drive location right within Global Mapper Mobile and choose to open this layer into the application. As I'd mentioned earlier, this is what's called a feature template layer. So my data manager has the ability to restrict attributes and values that I can populate as the user in the field, just to provide a little bit more control over whatever data our field users may be working with. And so to demonstrate this, once this is added, we'll now see it as a layer in our control center, and then I'll be able to add data to it when I'm creating features. So for example, if I manually add a point here by tapping on the screen, I'll be prompted for the associated and required information for this template that my data manager specified back in the office. Once I'm done with this process, so I've gone through, I've recorded all the data I need, it's important to remember that I'll need to save this and then send it back to the office because I've made quite a few changes here. From the menu, I can choose to save my map. And actually, here's a great feature. The Pro version of the app allows me also the option to save an online layer for future offline use. We aren't going to do that now, but it's available to us if we ever, maybe want to save this imagery for, another time we're out in the field and perhaps might not have a data connection. In this case, though, I'm just going to choose to save a Global Mapper mobile package file. I probably don't need to save my raster imagery here because, presumably my data manager didn't send that to me initially. He probably doesn't need or want me to send that back to him. So I won't do that. But at this point, I'm all set with this project. I've completed it, and I can email it or file share it right back to my data manager in the office. To recap quickly, Rachel, today we just looked at using Global Mapper Mobile Pro and how I can connect to a variety of built-in or customized online data sources to help give me some improved reference and situational awareness. And we also have the ability to use the Pro version to add data to an existing map file, which has already been opened and active in the application.
Great. Thank you so much for walking us through that, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Now, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Will there be any updates that we can expect for Global Mapper Mobile Pro and the base version this year?
There will be, yeah. So users should keep an eye out. We're planning some updates both to the free and the pro versions, most likely later on towards the second half of this year, but definitely something for our users to keep an eye out for.
Great. Well, we will definitely have to have you back for another round
Sounds
of
good.
Ask the Experts.
Okay.
For more information on Global Mapper Mobile Pro or Global Mapper Mobile, please visit the Blue Marble website. And thank you for joining us for Ask the Experts. Be sure to stay tuned for our next episode.